So this is week 7 submission for Mis586. So the objective this week is to actually conduct the study. So I'm going to prep the files, recruit participants, conduct the study, and record the data, and of course make this submission. So before the interviews, basically I did some prep work, and my data sheets were a huge part, and the prototypes. As well, I also purchased gift cards. What I also did prior to the interviews was I did a 2-minute recording of a current airline's booking process, so that they could understand where I was going, because the my prototypes were so rough. Then of course I went and bought gift cards. What I did for my interviews this time around was I actually decided to do some guerrilla recruiting. So I've done this a lot before when I was at companies like TELUS and RBC. So TELUS, so we were at enterprise level with both these companies, but TELUS, we would actually go into the stores and talk to either the staff, or if clients were free, we would talk to them. And that was really, really fun. The same with RBC. We would go into company lounges, chat with VPs. It was really, really interesting talking to the staff. As a UX person, they always like that. So that's what I did for this, for the interviews, for 3 of them this time, is I actually went into Union Station, which is incredibly busy. And I got 3 participants right away. 1, we sat on the bench and did it, and 2 were standing interviews. It was really tricky just making sure that I kept the pace fast enough and had my information ready, because I didn't want to waste their time. And I did video recordings, and of course afterwards I went back to those. So here we've got my UXDI evaluation canvas again, just as sort of a reminder of where I'm going with my study. The analysis, again, so I had last semester when we did this, we were doing t-tests off of 3 participants. And so that's what I put in my submission last week, and that was okay. But from the class, it seemed to be we couldn't do that, so that's a little bit confusing, but I have the data for multiple options, so when that gets clarified, we can move forward with whichever. These are my study invitation and intro scripts. Now for the ones in person, I actually kind of reiterated this verbally. And essentially, like, once I actually got into the prototype, it was just like walking them through it and say, what would you do next? What would you do next? That kind of thing. So it's very straightforward. So this is the prototype 1. So prototype 1 kind of matches what's online right now that the airline that I was using is doing. So essentially, they just pick the seat and that's it. Prototype 2 is you pick the seat, but imagery pops up, kind of thing. What was interesting when I was recording the timing, of course this one took longer. It'll be different once we get the more fine-tuned prototypes up. So so now we're looking at my data sheet. So this, of course, my README project description, validated contracts. So contracts I use EOU, PU, and BIU. And so these are my data sheets, this one and the next one. And essentially, I've got time to complete task and 3 questions. Questions 1, 2, and 3. I mean, technically they could be qualitative, but they could also be used to do some sort of quantitative return of information. And then my serious qualitative questions are down here. They really liked chatting about it, and it was interesting how much the participants liked the idea of booking seats with imagery, and they were actually asking if this was going to be live, and if they ever, and I just basically said, look, at some point somebody's going to do it. It may not be me. And then the one participant was like, oh, that's really cool, I'll watch for it, and then I'll be able to say I was part of that. So I was like, this is kind of interesting. But they really, really liked it, so that was pretty fun. And then this is my post-study questions, the responses for the prototype with the imagery. And then, of course, I've got my validated constructs. So that's about it. And then following this will just be all my appendices. Thank you.